Commissioner Tindell, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. I personally think we should know the name of the deputy by now. I talked to Stone County Sheriff Stewart about that. He said that's up to MBI. Can you identify the deputy at this point?
I'm not going to do it at this point. Obviously this was a pretty serious event and tragic event, and one in which um, I'm sure was tough on the deputy as well. Obviously, he received injuries, so we want to make sure that we do it at a time so that he can let his family know that his name is going to be put out in the public, and make sure that he's prepared for that. So. There's multiple considerations, obviously when it comes to these things, but I want to make sure that we've covered all those bases before we release his name in this case.
It was first reported that the deputy was shot in the arm. The sheriff told me that he was actually shot in the face, requiring stitches, which indicates to me he was maybe grazed by the bullet. What can you tell us about that and about the deputy's condition today?
I think he's going to be fine from a physical standpoint. Obviously, when you arrive on the scenes, it can be quite chaotic for the investigators and the officers that get there. So, but I do think the sheriff's description of the injuries that he received are accurate, and so he's being treated, and I think he will physically be fine.
Can you tell us the number of rounds that were fired between the man and the deputy at that Dollar General Sunday?
Well, NBI, of course, is doing its investigation, and part of that is a crime scene unit that works underneath NBI is doing its work as well. And so, trying to gather all that evidence, make sure that we find all the rounds. I can tell you there was a serious amount of gunfire that was exchanged, and obviously with the location of this particular Dollar General store. That was very dangerous with the cars passing by on Highway 49, and for the other folks that were standing around.
Yeah, it was 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon at a Dollar General in Perkinston. I'll bet you it was pretty crowded. Any idea as to how many people may have been in the store or in the area?
We're again, NBI is putting all that information together. I will tell you that this appears to be a situation where there were minors and being exchanged as part of a custodial agreement, and there was concerns about the safety, and of course the children were witnesses to part of this. So we know they were there as well as just casual customers in the store.
How many children? Do you know their ages? Were they in the vehicle where the woman was found?
Well, at different times they were in different places. Fortunately, the children were able to get somewhere safe where they weren't subject to harm. But again, the investigation's still pending, so we're trying to piece all that together so that we can ultimately release the entirety of the story and paint a clear picture as to what exactly happened without trying to make guess of where they were at particular times and at different points of this tragic situation.
What about surveillance footage? Do you have access to pretty strong surveillance footage and, in this day and age, cell phone video, perhaps from people who were bystanders, witnesses?
We're working on that, working with Dollar General to, see what video evidence they have, as well as any individuals that were on the scene, were being witnessed, that were witnesses to this that might have obtained some footage. But when these gunfire starts being exchanged, a lot of people put their cell phones down and take cover. And so, we're trying to get all that information. I can tell you that we have 3 NBI agents that arrived on the scene, and we're doing the investigation in this case, and working with other local and state law enforcement partners. So, if anybody has any information, for whatever reason that they didn't hear from NBI, because this is somewhat of a busy intersection in Perkinston. And so if anybody's got any information, we would encourage them to reach out to the Department of Public Safety or the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, and let us know what information you may have.
The report says the man died of a self-inflicted gun wound, and the woman likely a victim of his gunfire. Can you confirm that? Did the autopsies confirm that?
The autopsies have not been completed. We anticipate that that'll be either done sometime today or tomorrow. Once we get that, we'll have a better idea of exactly how he succumbed to his wounds, and what caused her injuries, and we'll be able to piece that part of this tragic situation together and have some conclusions.
And one last question, Commissioner. We have a 52-year-old man from Bendale, George County, 42-year-old woman from Pass Christian. You've kind of already said it, but can you characterize what is their relationship?
Obviously they have children together, and so we have minor children involved in this, and trying to be cognizant of what they're going through. And so um, just a very tragic domestic situation, which we all know all too often when we have these deadly incidences, or particularly when officers get shot, it's responding to these types of calls. And in this case, the sheriff's deputy was very, very, very lucky himself not to receive life-threatening injuries in this situation.
DPS Commissioner Sean Tindell, appreciate your time. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Dave.